Remember, the starting point of becoming a millionaire on the outside is for you to become a millionaire on the inside. Whenever you think about your work, repeat the words over and over again. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. Combine these positive words with a mental image of yourself performing your task, your work, in an excellent way.
There is a question I would always ask individuals who've made incredible amounts of money that keeps helping them create more wealth year after year. And they all say the same thing, is that you have to have a generous mindset. So the mindset habit is the first thing that you have to think about when creating abundance with your money, but also feeling abundant internally.
As if you want to make $1 million, you best become a millionaire. Because if you make $1 million and you haven't developed into a millionaire, you'll lose it. Because in life you are what? A reflection of your thoughts, a reflection of your actions.
Project yourself into the future and say, where do I want to be in 5 to 10 years? If I could design a perfect life, so my life was perfect in every respect, my relationships, my income, my work, my family, my health, my home, my car, what would it be? This is the starting point of great achievement, because what will happen is that if you can clearly define that target, you can hit it. You eventually always hit the targets that you set for yourself, but you can't hit a target that you can't see.
As you alter your own consciousness, as you alter your own perception of life, as you alter the way you see things and take control, you can connect with the money frequency. When you do, it's like Napoleon Hill pointed out in his book. He said, when money starts coming, it'll come so fast and furious, you're going to wonder where it was hiding through all those lean years. And that is because you've connected with the laws of the universe.
Now, the starting point of becoming a millionaire is to remember the greatest discovery of all of human life, which is that you become what you think about most of the time. If you sincerely want to be rich, to achieve all your financial goals, and to retire as a self-made millionaire, one of the smartest things you can do is to develop the habits of thinking and acting that have enabled others to become self-made millionaires.
So if you feel like you're stuck right now, if you feel like you have nothing, this was what you were at 8 years ago when I met you. This was where I was at 15 years ago when I was on my sister's couch. I had no money. I was in student loan debt, was sleeping on her couch. I didn't think I had any skills. I didn't have a college degree yet. I was like, how am I gonna make money if I don't know how to make money and I don't have any talent or skill and I'm in debt? It didn't understand it. It felt impossible. And the thing that I shifted when I started meeting money mentors is I needed to learn the first habit, which is the mindset habit, which is a habit of generosity and gratitude.
Dream building, going out and physically looking at big houses, going out and looking at nice cars and jewelry and nice clothes, looking online at fancy restaurants and reading their menus and imagining what it would be nice to be able to afford going to that place, looking online at Tahiti and Hawaii and Barbados and all the different luxury places around the world that you would love to travel to and take a holiday vacation. Look at the most luxurious suites and villas that cost $10,000 a night and dream, wow, somebody can afford that. If they can do it, why not me? And why not right now? These are the things that inspire and motivate. These are the things that wealthy people do on a regular basis. So engage in that, and I think you'll see some spectacular results.
Your life, you're going to get what you tolerate. Stop tolerating for these people who have believed in you all your life, an inferior life for you. Stop allowing God to bless you and give you all this giftedness and opportunity and settle and tolerate less. For those babies that are sitting here with you, your children and grandchildren, stop being willing to tolerate less for them. Don't tolerate it anymore. Yeah, you got to give it your best, but it starts making a decision that this is over. I don't tolerate this life anymore. Pretty good's not good enough for my family. Pretty good's not good enough for my grandmother. Pretty good's not good enough for my grandpa, my parents, my future children. Pretty good ain't gonna get it done for this family. Now I hope you hear them whispering to you, he's right. You can do this. You're great, you're special. You were born for a reason. I hope you can feel that. Life's gonna give you ultimately what you'll fight for.
If you don't own something, you're not the boss. You have to take full responsibility for everything that you do. Why be subservient? You must be the master of your own kingdom. You've got to own that. You can't just walk into things with your eyes half open. You got to walk into things with your eyes fully open. You got to know what you're getting into. You have to take possession of your life.
I feel like most people in their lives are being allowed to live small. You're allowed to live a small life. Everyone around you would like you to live small. Just do this. You're good at that. Man, take it easy. Chill. When's enough? Like, come on, brother. You know, where we all these messages you get is basically saying, hey, man, live small.
Yeah.
Life's not a big deal. Live small, enjoy it, chill, smoke a little weed, do whatever you want, right? Like, it's just this get by thing in life. And there's got to be some people who go, no, you're supposed to do something great with your life. You were put here for a purpose. Your way, the way you were born, the way you were raised, your background, your experiences, your giftedness all prepared you in your way for right now. And you're supposed to do something great with your life. You weren't born here to be average and ordinary. And there's all this messaging that you're average and ordinary, and you're average and ordinary because you belong there, and it's probably someone else's fault you're average and ordinary too. And I'm like, no, it's your life. You're in control. It's no one else's fault, and you're supposed to do something magnificent.
You'll doubt whether it'll work. You'll stress to make ends meet. You won't finish your to-do list. You'll wonder whether you made the right call and have no way to know for years. This is what hard feels like, and that's okay. Everything worth doing is hard, and the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it more for you.
Slow decisions create slow businesses. Make the call. I want you to make the call. Right or wrong, make the call, because momentum wins. You can't steer a parked car. You've heard the saying before, right? You can't steer a parked car. So you got to make decisions. You got to make moves. Right or wrong, you got to make moves. You can't expect to have all of the information, 100% of the information you need to make the right decision every time. What I want you to do is start making decisions. And decision making is like a muscle. The more you make decisions, the better your decisions get, because you make a decision. If it was the wrong decision, you course correct. Next time you have more information to make the better decision. Decision making is like a muscle, as I said, and that means you get to develop the muscle of decision making, which means you become more decisive, even faster, and you make better decisions faster, and that is how winners win. Right? But if you can't be decisive because you're like, well, I'm not sure, I'm going to ask 20 people for their opinion, I'm going to hem and haw, and it's going to take forever until I gather all the right information, you are going to miss out on the opportunity, because opportunities, the window of opportunity is only so big. Whether it's marketing, it's sales, it's an economic shift, right? Or it's a shift in your industry. That window of opportunity is small, and if you can't be decisive and pull the trigger, dude, you're left behind.
Reminder that if you want to be exceptional, you're going to be different from everyone else. That's what makes you exceptional. You can't fit in and also be exceptional. Both have discomfort. When you fit in, you have internal conflict because you're not being 100% you. When you're exceptional, you have external conflict because everyone sees you as different. Pick one. When your friends start to say, you've changed, remember it's because they don't know how to say, you've grown.
How are you going to get $1 million if you're broke? It's through people. It's not through an idea or I'm going to go build something or make something. It's through a person. All wealth comes through people.
Right.
It doesn't come here, so Elon's got to sell his car to somebody.
Right. People.
Totally.
Yeah.
So Coca-Cola's got to get somebody to pick up that can. And AI has to have somebody to prompt it, unless it's going to start prompting on its own.
You could think that the money frequency is something that's hidden somewhere, and only the lucky people find it. And of course, that's not the case. Anyone can connect with the money frequency, and you do it inside yourself.
Let your mind float free. All really exceptional men and women dream big dreams. They allow their minds to float. They think of what they could be and what they could do and what they really, really want. Here's an exercise for you. Take a piece of paper later on and write at the top, dream list, and then make a list of all your dreams. But what about this and what about that? No, decide what's right before you decide what's possible. Don't decide, well, we can't afford this and we couldn't do that. We go, stop. That's helplessness. That's habit. That's these old negative habit patterns holding you back. Before you even decide what you want, most people are figuring out why they can't have it. What you do is you say, wait a minute, if I had no limitations, and this is the key, you dream as though you had no limitations. Nothing's holding you back. Imagine you have all the time, all the money, contacts, all the education, influence. You have everything going for you in the whole world. And just simply decide, these are my dreams, and write them down.
In order to make $1 million, you have to endure $1 million worth of pain. And so you might be able to endure $1 million worth of pain over 40 years, or you can crunch it into 4 crazy years. And then after that, you can have whatever you want to have afterwards. And so I think about life in seasons rather than in, on microcosm of days and even weeks. And I think that shifting that perspective will really only solve one core problem for people, which is that they feel like they are doing something wrong by making a sacrifice today. Shifting from who I become rather than what I achieve, or who I become as the achievement, has been a wonderful reframe for, like, sure, you want to be a millionaire, but what you really want to do is become the person who can become a millionaire.
Money is very much like a lover. It must be courted and coaxed and flattered and treated with care and attention. Money gravitates toward people who respect it and value it and who are capable of doing worthwhile things with it. Money flows through the fingers and flees from people who do not understand it or who do not take proper care of it.
Now you may say, well, I make decisions. Do you really? You may make little ones, but you make the real important ones. Do you go after what you want in life? Do you get everything you want in life? See, the truth is, only about 3% of the people are really living the way they want to live, driving the car they want to drive, taking the trips they want to take, living in the houses they want to live in. Most people do not, and they'll tell you why they can't, and they'll give you a string of reasons a mile long. All seem very practical, very reasonable, and the leader of them all is they can't afford it.
One of the things people always ask me, they're like, how did you start from nothing and get to this level of hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars? And my answer is, I changed circles pretty quickly. I get to the top of this mountain, look over, there's a bigger mountain, go down to the base camp, talk to a few people. Have you been to the top of this mountain? They're able to get me there way quicker. But what do you think about this idea of you got to get around the right people? Like, if you want to be a great dad, don't hang out with guys that go to the strip club all the time and don't alcoholics. If you want to become a great leader, you should probably hang out with great leaders that proven that they've been able to lead people.
Like, these things don't happen overnight. You don't start a business and now your business is totally successful and it's a huge expansion and you're just living the dream. It doesn't happen like that. No. The dream takes work. So I would say get up early, work hard. Essentially, that's what you got to do.
If one of your goals is to become a millionaire, as it was my goal for many years before I achieved it, you have to learn how to think the way a millionaire thinks if you want to get the results, especially the financial results that a millionaire gets. Now, the most important attitude for financial success is called long-term thinking. Successful people think a long way into the future, and they adjust their daily behaviors to assure that they achieve their long-term goals. Your ability to think long-term about your life and to set 10 and 20-year goals for yourself, and then come back to the present and make sure that everything you do today is consistent with where you want to be in the future, is the hallmark of people who become millionaires in the course of their working lifetimes.
Somebody rejects you. Yeah, okay, no problem. Totally fine. Because if I feel sorry for myself, these guys are going to be right. So unless if you don't want to go through the pain of getting to the number that you want that's $1 million, don't do it. These guys will forever be able to say, I'm right and you're wrong, you quit. You're a quitter. For the rest of your life, you have to live the fact that you quit and you prove them right. How do you feel about that? Then you have to kind of answer that question. So for me, that person, you have to have the mathematical, logical formula on how many calls, how many contacts, how many appointments, how many employees, how many salespeople, how much money you need to have to be able to do the ads and software and technology and tools and all this other stuff. But you need to know why you're going to go through the pain. And if you don't spend time with this part, you're going to quit on this one in no time.
One of the things that I learned, by the way, is that becoming a self-made millionaire is not the important thing. What is really important is the person you have to become a self-made millionaire. You have to become a totally different human being. One of my friends says that in order to achieve something you've never achieved before, you have to become someone you've never been before. And it's a really important insight, is the qualities that you need to develop, qualities on the inside to become a self-made millionaire, are incredible qualities that make you a vastly better person. Not only better in terms of character, determination, discipline, decision-making, strength, and so on, but they make you a far better person. They round out your character in a far better way. So that the real payoff of becoming wealthy is not because you can eat more, because how many more meals can you eat? How many more clothes can you wear? But it's the kind of person that you become, and then the kind of people that you associate, the kind of life that you have.
This is the number one thing I hear from people. Well, I don't need to be rich. Dude, you don't even know what you're talking about. You do need to be rich. Poor people are selfish. People that just get by are selfish. You're selfish because you're always talking about yourself. Listen to what the guy says. I said, man, you need to get rich, man. No, I don't need to get rich. Dude, you're talking you. But what about your church? What about the community? Okay? What about all the little kids you could help, dude?
Family.
What about people in Africa? What about all the water problems you talk about? Okay? So rich people can literally change the world. Poor people cannot do that. Okay? Because they're too consumed with their own 24 inches around them.
Their own world.
I need to eat.
You became a millionaire at a very young age. What do you think is the fastest path today to become a millionaire?
It turns out that the slow way is the only way. So the slow way is the fast way. But there's going to be so much external narrative that's going to try and bait you in with the fast way. The fast way takes you nowhere. And even if you get there, it's probably unsustainable. Buying NFTs, crypto, it's not the enduring long-term path. What you really, the fast way is the slow way because the slow way is the only way.
Poverty, and I learned poor as a situation. So I never thought I was poor. I just thought the situation we were in is poor. And I know it's a very subtle difference, but I think you learn your mindset. And I think poverty is a learned mindset. And I think abundance is a learned mindset. I didn't learn a wealth mindset until later on. And I always think if I would have learned an abundance mindset sooner, I would be much wealthier today.
Wow.
In life, we have these 5 buckets, right? The first bucket is our knowledge, which is what we know. When we apply what we know, it becomes a skill, right? And these first 2 buckets, your knowledge and your skills, are the only buckets in your life that no professional earthquake can ever unfill. They're also the buckets that overflow to fill these last 3 buckets, which is your network, your resources, and your reputation. When you have knowledge and skills, you'll undoubtedly build a network that will lead to resources, and finally reputation. Life can take away these last 3 buckets, but if you're a young person, the key takeaway here is when you're selecting that job, like I was at 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, don't select for reputation, a nice jobs title. Don't even select for resources, getting paid more. Focus on jobs that will fill these first 2 buckets, which is knowledge and skills.
That's the mistake I made, dude. The first mistake I made was nobody said, hey man, you could make $1 billion a year if you wanted to. You don't have to make $1 million.
That was never the target for you.
No, all the books, everything we're told was to be a millionaire. Be a millionaire, or just make enough money to be happy, or just make enough money to pay off all your bills, or you got to reduce your spending. Everything is about don't go get coffee, buy a used truck, don't get debt. Everything's about what not to do rather than what to do, what you can do. The financial planners tell you what not to spend rather than telling you, how do I create wealth for myself?
What's the chance of you making $1 million this year? Give me numbers. And everyone's like 0%, 0%, 0%. 1%, there's always 1%. It's like 5, and that's like the most it'll get to. And I said, okay, I'm gonna give you the most extreme example, but I just wanna see what happens, okay? What's the percentage chance of you making $1 million this year, legally, and if you don't, everyone that you love dies? And everyone's like 100%, 100%, 1,000, 1,000%. I said, what changed? The goal didn't change, the time frame didn't change, why you're doing it changed. Would you wake up in the morning if everyone that you love's life depended on it and be like, yeah, well, maybe I should scroll on TikTok for a little while? No, you'd be like, I'm gonna take action immediately. And so it doesn't need to be like a fear of losing everybody, but what's really behind that is why they're doing it.
2 people. One was a janitor, one worked in a school. Both of them made very little income, yet both of them retired very wealthy. And the reason, and I'm talking about in the millions of dollars, and the reason why they've been able to retire with $1 million plus was because they took a little bit of money every time they got paid and they just invested that money. It did not matter, what else was going on in the world. They always paid themselves first. They always invested in assets before they started going out and buying things that made them look rich. Every single time. And when you put that little bit of money to work, whether you're starting with $25 or $250 or $1,000, when you put that money to work and you do that consistently over time, you can build real wealth.
You want to be with people who are not complaining, who are always thinking creatively, who have big goals, who will help you, pick you up. The people you're surrounded with have a phenomenal bearing on where you're going. Take a look at your 5 people that you're with most often and ask yourself, if I have children, would I want them to grow up be like them? If the answer is no, you better start looking for some new friends. If the answer is yes, you're already in the right circle of people. Think about what I'm saying. The people we're surrounded with have a phenomenal impact on our life and help make us who we are.
Whatever form of meditation or mantra that you decide to espouse, there needs to be some period in your day where you remember that there's a world out there trying to tell you who you are, and there's a world in here that's trying to tell you who you are. Now, where do you want to put your eggs? Because the world outside is very noisy and very tempting, and has all the razzmatazz, has all the tinsel and all the glitter. It's got all the toys. But that's because you don't think you're enough in the first place.
Remember, there are no successful mediocrities. Everyone who is financially successful is recognized as being very good at what they do. So imagine yourself as relaxed and calm and confident and capable. What you see on the inside is what you will be on the outside.
Most people want to become millionaires because of what being a millionaire allows you to do, not because of what you have to do to become a millionaire.